Hello everyone, welcome back to the RedSeaPodcast. This is Dennis, sadly, with a bit of change plans because Gav was supposed to return to the show today, but due to him logically not waking up at 6 a.m. and highlights being landlocked to the country, sadly he couldn't catch the game anywhere, so sadly he can't be back on the show. But I'm back, and I'm back to talk about the chaos that happened, the the flurry of chances, the ruled out goals, the red card, and penalties, and everything in between that went on in this game. And yeah, honestly, more than I expected from a KIF game. If you want me to be honest, I expected some BS. I'm not gonna lie, I expected some stuff to go down. Did I expect that much stuff to go down? No, not really. But yeah, before we get into that, as always, if you're new, do like and subscribe if you like what you see. We recently broke the 300 mark, which I'm very grateful about. And anything else you need social wise is gonna be either up here, scanning that QR, or down below the description where you'll find everything else that you may need as well. Aside from that, given that it is a solo show for those of you that are new, even if you're watching after, usually on solo shows, I post this link in the comments that's on the screen right now, this link right here, which you can copy on uh, Google, and you can join me live to share your thoughts and anything in between. Think of it as type of open lines in general. Now that seamless promo is out the way, let's get stuff started. Of course, the game ended 1-3, and if we're being honest with ourselves, it's a game that could have easily, very easily, ended with a record-breaking score, probably 1-6, given all the crossbars and stuff. But it is what it is. Stuff happened, and we're about to get into them right now. Of course, game started very abruptly, very fast, as with KIF's opening attack. A huge chance was missed by former Liverpool player, which I still it's still insane that La Russie is playing for Kifisia, but he is. La Russie sending the ball out wide, with our defense being caught semi-lacking, I'd say, and having a very, very early wake-up call. After that, though, a main part of the chaos began. A chaos that maybe was expected, maybe not, as I said a bit earlier, and that was the start of the ruled out goals. The first one, of course, very, very sadly, being the goal of Christos Mouzakidis, which would have been his first of the season. But despite the incredible run of Daniel Podence down the left side, was it down the left side? Pretty sure it was down the left side. Right before he cut the ball to Chiquinho, for him to cut it to Mouzakidis, for it to be placed masterfully at the bottom left of the net, with Kifisia's keeper unable to do a single thing. Sadly, the ball had indeed gone out, and sadly, the opener of Christos Mouzakidis tally for the season was called back. Now, after that, thankfully, just 16 minutes after that, another man opened his personal tally for the season and his personal tally for the team as well, as with an absolute masterful run, Diogo Nascimento underlapped Rodinei, and Rodinei found him damn near picture perfectly with a through ball, and Nascimento from arguably one of the tightest angles that you'd expect a center mid of all people to shoot the ball from, completely kills the Kifiskia keeper and slots it to the top opposite. And I honestly have been trying, but I'm struggling to remember a more beautiful first goal for Olympiacos from any player. But if you remember a better one, of course, you can freely correct me in the comments. But what a goal and what a way to open your tally for a team in general. Then, though, we went right back to this, because of course we did. And out of the three, I personally disagree with this one. Because from an incredible set piece, I'm pretty sure once again by Rodinei, I think it was Rodinei, Panos Rechos finds the header perfectly and just rockets it to the back of the net for his, I'm pretty sure, a record-breaking third goal of the season that would have been. But unrightfully, unlike the first goal, in my opinion, unrightfully, the goal gets ruled out for an offensive foul. Now, we had a similar incident at the IK game, for those of you that got the highlights of the other games as well, where a goal by Luka Jovic was cancelled for the same reason. Lanois spoke out and said that both of those goals were rightfully cancelled. I'll speak out and say that both of those goals were unrightfully cancelled. I don't really care right now about the icon, but Rechos literally has this minimal of a touch, and then the Kifiskia player gets struck by absolute lightning. God knows what else I can call that. And Rechos gets charged with a foul, and then it's done for that. Honestly, as I said, I call BS. But given what happened in general, I think we move. I think we put it past us with the rest of the 5 trillion ref calls that have been questionable against us this season already. But honestly, I don't know. The result matters and the football matters at this point. No reason in going batshit crazy over something like that, because honestly, this banner was created only for this. We're too good to be stopped even by ref calls. And we'll keep scoring until you can cancel those goals, like we did the other day. Now, after the half ends, and after we should be up 3, but we were only up 1, because of course it wasn't only the goals that got called back. It was Ayoub El Gabi hitting the crossbar with a seemingly empty net from 1 meter out. I honestly think I'm in the majority when I say that I celebrated that shot, because I was dead certain that it would end up as a goal because Selkabi is right in front of the net. The keeper can do nothing, but it bounces right off the crossbar and back out again because only people like Ayub El Kabi can put too much power to score those shots. But yeah, should be up a lot more than one, but half ends with us being up one from Nascimento's beautiful goal. And then the millisecond we enter the second half with it being in the 47th. Kivsia pull a goal back and it's 1-1. And then we start running. Then it's scary time. I wasn't worried per se because I really knew that we'd pull at least one back. We were all over them for the entirety of the first half. There was no way that we wouldn't pull one back. But I was frustrated, given that we should have had that cushion of goals. And I don't really want to stand here and complain for no reason. Because we did get a very comfortable win. But it's the feeling. It's the feeling of frustration. Not long after, though, a mere 10 exact minutes after that happened, the first penalty happens. And the first penalty is clear as day. I'm not even going to lie to you. I watched the highlights right before I started, and I still don't remember who commits the penalty on Jensen, but they straight up just knock him down, they push him down. And that's, you can't, even if you're the dumbest Panathinaikos fan, you can't dispute that penalty for no reason because it's straight up in the rules. I am gonna leave this on the screen for a bit. I'm not gonna say it, but I am gonna leave this on the screen for a while. But yeah, as I was saying, it's it's illogical to go ahead and dispute that penalty. And as momentum started to shift a bit more 50-50, then El Kabi calmly converts the penalty, sends the keeper the other way, and momentum is right back with us. Then, just 4 minutes after, the red for the... Did he get subbed on? Yes. For the just earlier subbed on Maidana happens. He gets a yellow on the 54th, and then 61st minute, not even 20 minutes after he got on the field, he completely commits another atrocious, absolutely atrocious foul. It's a rightful second yellow, and he's gone. And if that wasn't enough for Kivisia, Zelson wins another penalty, getting him another assist on the books. And this penalty is a bit more worth talking about, along with, of course, Zelson's general importance, which we'll get into. I've openly said whether it's for us or against us, except from the cases where it's crystal clear, I don't really get the handball rule. I don't really get the fine print behind that rule. So I'm willing to discuss this penalty. But for me, and in my out and out, as unbiased as possible point of view, when your hand is out here, even if you try to pull it back, or if you're in the process of pulling it back, if the ball hits your hand here, that's not a natural position, so that's a penalty. But I don't get Lanois saying that it's not a penalty. I've been open about my opinion on Lanois many times. But I get the discussion, the serious discussion in the penalty. For me, it's clear as day. But the handball rule in general is stupid. Like, you can't put it any other way. But that's another penalty won by Zelson. And that's another penalty converted by Ayub El-Gabi, making it 2 and climbing into the top 20 goal scorers for Olympiacos in the league in a record-breaking amount of games. And you can't overlook that from El-Gabi. And then, after that, we'll get back to performances in general. This man, Sabdon, I questioned Strefeza in general after the game against PSV. After the game against PSV, there were questions about his non-involvement, general questions about his performance, which were rightful criticism, in my opinion. But then he comes on at the 74th, and he has 2 incredible chances. And for those of you that do follow me on socials already, as I said, he was mere centimeters away from a brace. Mere centimeters away from a brace. And the fact that you can stand here and see the involvement that Strefeza has. When you started the game with Apodens, with Azelson, which are 2 of your most influential players on the field in general, the talk is already a positive. And I know that some people are calling him this season's Velde. I know that some people are calling him overpriced, underworking, and stuff like that. But differently from Christopher Velde, you can see the talent. Like, the difference is insane. And for now, as things stand, I am more than okay with going ahead to say that Strefeza has been unlucky in the chances he's gotten. Because there are not many. He had that injury as well. He comes out, has an incredible run. Sadly, despite the incredible goal he scored to the opposite post, sadly, he's this much side. And then a few minutes after, he goes ahead, gets the ball, cuts inside, carries it again, and this time the ball hits the post and it goes out. And you're unlucky after a point, right? And as long as the same involvement keeps happening from Gabriel Strefeza, that both will unlock the confidence that we were talking about ever since pre-season in Zelson and Danny, knowing that they have someone that can cover them for 20-30 minutes each game, and that can come in for them in games needed, and the goals will come eventually, right? I am way more confident in going ahead to say that for someone like Strefeza than I was last season for the Velde of the world, right? So I'm willing to give him a chance. I'm more than willing to give Strafets a chance because what we saw against KIF was very positive. Mind you, it's not enough yet. I am aware that it's not enough yet. But it's been good enough to warrant chances. And he needs to get those chances to prove if he's good enough to be here in general. And if he's good enough to bear that unfortunate, we'll see, price tag of 8 mil. I don't understand how it's possible that when we had a goal disallowed for a foul, which it wasn't, we were favored by the referees. This dog. I hinted to it earlier. But we all know what a favorite hobby of Panathinaikos fan is, and that's watching Olympiacos games. Not only that, sites like the usually very talkative NOC, the STNAs of the world and stuff like that, and Greek media in general went out and said that the penalties in the red were cooked up and that it wasn't. It's all in favor for OLY and stuff like that. And you start to get reminded why the thumbnail phrase that I have used for this episode exists. And that's because there's nothing that the general public in this country loves, the general football public in this country loves, more than hating on Olympiacos. And then that's why the title exists, and that's why this exists right here. Because when the argument comes up that you need a team good enough to beat the refs as well, we come in and we simply make it happen. And people can cook up all the stories they want. That's my main case on that comment. Now, general performance-wise, honestly, Cholakis there when needed, not needed much, but it's nice for him to have a more relaxed game. Like he saved 2 close-up efforts that weren't needed to be saved, the 2 main chances from Kivsia, and he had 2 successful runouts out of 2, honestly doing all he was needed to do, literally. We talked about Roddy and the incredible assists he had. Roddy had a game of 2 halves, in my opinion. He had a very mediocre first, up until the goal, and then after Nascimento's goal, he was the Roddy we all know and love. Retsos and Pirola, not really needed. Again, same as Solakis, Retsos and Pirola had a calmer game, a quieter game. Again, Retsos getting very unlucky to not have a goal to his name from this game. Ortega, again, more of a quiet game. Defensively sound and solid, nothing to really do offensively. But again, did all that was asked of him. Had a solid amount of recoveries. Another thing that I want to talk about that I did mention and that I didn't really see anyone else mentioning. We'll get into Nascimento on his own in a bit, but the combo of someone like Mouzagiris and someone like Nascimento, in my opinion, proved to be surprisingly effective. We all went into this game just looking at that midfield duo, saying, Why not Scipione, for example? And I know we all did, and I'm including me because I said the same thing. Like, why not start Scipione with Mouzakitis? But against a team like KIF that doesn't really focus on putting any pressure on the ball, and that gives more of an opening for a midfield of those two, for example, to do their thing. That duo worked very well, in my opinion. And going into Nascimento more, we're seeing the work and the progress that he's had under Mendy. We're seeing Mendy bring his best forward. We're seeing how he's integrated himself into the team system. We're seeing his passion towards the team. We're seeing how willing he is to actually put in the work and get himself into these starting 11s. And we're perhaps seeing the reason why he'll get more game time in Europe. Because a midfielder like that, coming off the bench in Europe, may prove to be crucial in games. I'm not gonna say Madrid. I was gonna say Madrid. But the Madrid game, I I wanna wait on talking about the Madrid game because I still don't exactly know how to put it in my head. And given the spot we are in Europe, in general, the talent, the pros, and in general, the aggression, the passion, the fire that Nascimento carries to his game may prove to be a necessity in Europe if he keeps improving steadily, game by game by game by game. So we'll see. It's one of the more pleasant surprises that we've seen in a while. And it's always a nice, very nice sight. Now, one of the main people worth talking about in regards to this game, and that's Zelson. Zelson didn't get a full 90, got subbed off at the 84th, but perhaps including the PSV game, this has been the start of his best run of games in at least a full year. There was always criticism towards Zelson in regards to his finishing, which there still is, because Zelson is known for his finishing, despite that wonder goal that he put in against PSV. Zelson won't bring you immediate goals, usually, but Zelson will drag more defenders on you and open space. Zelson will beat his man, cut outside and cross the ball in, or find an open pass that needed. Zelson will get you penalties. He's a nuisance on the attack. And if we keep getting that contribution from Zelson, because even stat-wise, he's gotten a goal and 2 assists in 2 games. If we keep getting that contribution from Zelson, and God help he stays healthy, we're gonna see what me and Gav talked about in pre-season, that the duo of Danny Podence and Zelson Martins can be very scary, both in Europe and in the league. So those two were utterly important. Of course, Chiquinho, more of a quiet game as well, did his thing, needs to find his groove beat again, but no complaints. I actually liked Ayub's performance a lot. I thought it was one of the most productive games that he's had this season, and no doubt goal and penalties. But in general, his movement, his tracking back to get the ball, his attempts, despite the crossbar, he was very efficient. And we haven't seen that in a hot minute in regards to Ayub El-Kabi. So hopefully he keeps providing what he knows best, but he keeps his movement and his vision even more improving as we've seen this season. I actually agree and disagree with this comment. Well, Zelson is finding his form again after the back-to-back injuries that he had to start the season. I'm a bit hesitant in regards to saying that he's found his best this year, because the Zelson we had when he came in and integrated himself into the team, for me, hasn't been surpassed yet. Can he do even better? As long as this man stays healthy, along with Danny Podence, he'll be incredible. He'll be absolutely incredible. And he will do even better. But I'm a bit hesitant just yet. There's nothing on Zelson. It's more on how unlucky he's been. Yeah, I fully get it, and I agree. He's been incredibly useful and incredibly crucial already. But I'm saying that he can be even better. And along with the games that they get together, the synergy with Danny is going to be even bigger. Kind of like how Fortu and Danny were when they had to play both on the wing. So you'll see an even better performance, and you'll see even more, both stats-wise and off. And you'll see the Zelson not of old necessarily, but you'll see a Zelson, as will we all, right? That we haven't really seen before. I'm very hopeful. I'm hesitant, but I'm hopeful, if that makes sense. Now, substitution-wise, of course, talked about the unlucky case of Gabriel Strefeca. Roman Yaremchuk came in with 15 left, didn't really do much, as neutral of a game as it gets. CP came in with 6 minutes left to cover off Mousakitis. Would have loved for him to get more game time. Yazici, in 6 minutes of game time, and whatever the extra time was, let me actually check how many proper minutes he got. 11 minutes total. In 11 minutes, Yazici proved why he needs to be playing more in this game. I've screamed it from the top of my goddamn lungs that both Yazici and Kabela, but for now, especially Yazici, needs to get his league games at least for a solid 45. At least bring him on for half a goddamn hour. I know that he doesn't fit in this style, but Christ, is he incredible. He's amazing. You can't ignore that. And he's crucial. In a lot of games he has been, and he still is crucial. I will get to the next few games comment in a second, because I want to talk about the standings really quickly before I close off the main part of this show and get to the MVP and the coach's grade in a bit. We're back first, which is the most important thing. It's back in our hands, which is what I wanted. Did I expect PAOK to go and lose to Panathinaikos? No, not at all. The prediction I dropped, I think, was like 0-3 or something. But Pana under Benitez have been, as expected, a completely different team. Panathinaikos are going through a crucial restructuring, and you can't really ignore that as much as we want to banter them on a more serious note. They're getting back to a more serious football club. How that can happen under Alafouzos, I don't know, but we'll see. And you need to keep an eye on them, not necessarily points-wise, but game-wise, when that comes later on. If they even make the playoffs this season, God knows how stuff is going. And they just outclassed PAOK. It's as simple as that. The only saving grace from PAOK was Kostadelias, that's now out injured, sadly for them and the kid, because the kid is ultra talented. He's a blessing to this league, undoubtedly. But thankfully for us, because PAOK are gonna just drop, because PAOK without Kostadelias are levels below, not just a level below. Ike snuck by Ofi, I'm pretty sure. Olympiacos, that I'm still in utter disbelief about what this team is doing. Putting 5 and 6s. Christ. I am hoping and praying that at the end of the season, we are talking about Olympiacos being 5th. I don't think they'll hold on to 4th if we're being realistic. Hopefully they do. Honestly, I'd hope for them and our European spots that they do hold on to 4th. But get this team and Papadopoulos into Europe. Please, I'm tired of seeing Aris fail year in and year out. Olympiacos deserves to hold on and qualify. Hopefully they get 4th and they hold out against an upcoming Panathinaikos. But even if they get 5th and get that and snap up that last European spot, it will be best case scenario for Greece. And again, we are talking about the best attack in the league, right? Can't ignore that. Volos, of course, tied with them with a much worse goal difference. I'm not really paying mind to Volos. I know they'll drop off. Pan, of course, with that win, a game down and on -3 from Olympiacos and Volos. Aris 7th. Honestly, even if Aris end up in the playouts, it would be better for Greece for them to skip Europe for a year, honestly, especially after the year they're having. Kifisia, same, not same points as Aris, a point below Aris. Eventually, will probably overtake them again. And then it's the chaos of the playouts. And that's a great segue from this comment here. I just checked out our next 5 games against Atromitos, Real Madrid, Panetolikos, Elasiru, and Dofi. You think we'll have at least 4 out of 5 wins? Now, I'll try and keep it unbiased. Okay. Atromitos, I think we beat relatively easily, despite them always being a trouble team for us for no reason at all. And now Madrid, as I said, I'll wait. Madrid, I'll wait. Honestly. I'm not going to say anything about Madrid because I'm more hopeful than stuff may look. But I'll keep my opinions to myself up until the game. The pre-game, I don't know, the game talk comes up. Panetolikos is coming off a new manager bounce, but again, I don't think there'll be much trouble. It won't be that comfortable, but I think we'll beat them easily. Elasiru in the cup. I like Elasiru as a team quite a lot, honestly. So I think it will be a nice test for some of our younger guys and our second unit. But of course, I think we'll come out on top. And Ofi are having arguably the worst year they've had ever since they came up. So I think that may even be our biggest win out of the 5. I don't think we'll have 4 out of 5 wins. I think 4 out of 5 wins is a minimum for this game. For the class of this team, the goals of this team, and the utter form of this team, I think 4 out of 5 is a minimum. Now, what we do against Madrid, we'll see. But again, more hopeful than stuff showed. And I think that's a good closing point. MVP-wise, I've already said it from the post-game. I think it's closer than I immediately thought, because I didn't really think about Zelson as a potential MVP for that game. And that's on me, right? He had an incredible performance, but that's mostly on me. But I still would give it to Nascimento. He had an incredible game. He controlled the midfield. He helped Musa perfectly. And he's showing incredible improvement. So I'll give it to Nascimento. I'll still give it to Nascimento. And coach's grade, it's hard. Coach's grade, I will give him an 8 minus. But I still have some stuff. I still have some minor complaints about some stuff, as I said, with subs, and stuff like that, Scipione and stuff like that. But you can give less. It was a game handled amazingly. His risk in the midfield with Nascimento Musankitis worked perfectly. I'll give him an A minus. Call me crazy, but I said that lazy because I believe we have hope with Real Madrid. Same. As much as I may regret saying that. Same. Now, I'll start slowly wrapping up for today. For those of you that are listening after, thank you. If you stayed up until now, for those of you that are here now, thank you that you stayed up until now. I love the questions. I love the interactions. Stuff is going better and better on all platforms. Drop your thoughts, drop your questions, drop predictions and anything down below. Stuff's coming. Slight delay, as I expected. That's why I didn't announce anything on Friday. But stuff is coming. And I'm very hyped. Give me these 2 weeks, because some live stuff, some health stuff is catching back up as well. But stuff's coming very soon. And I promise I'll announce them soon. And as I always promise, for all the support you give me, can't wait to give you all back ever improving content on the tenfold. I'll see you all probably on Wednesday for the basketball postgame. And if not Wednesday, as always, I'll see you all on a double recap at the end of the week on Friday. Ethniki-wise, I'll probably do a double recap as well and talk about it with Gav as well. All announcements will come up when everything is more certain. Thank you all so much. See you soon.